Welcome everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of Comics here on Rare Drop, and it's me, Technique, of course. I'm here with the lovely co-host Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Doing well, man. Good morning. Happy second weekend in May. It's crazy, dude, and happy second episode.
Yes, absolutely. It's going pretty fast. It feels good to be able to put together a show and actually get it done and actually do it instead of having delays and pushbacks on shows and stuff like that. I mean, I've ran with them all, and it's been not that fun, but we got things going. It was a little rocky start, but we got it all going. Hello, what's up? What's up, Paul? What's up, everybody in the chat and lurkers? If you're here, hello. Well, this episode is going to be a pretty fun one. I mean, we're trying to introduce you new birds, or you old birds, or however you want to say it, to some of the new. I think it's a show for everybody, Matt. It's the old is a show for them because they get to see what the new birds are all liking, and new birds get to see what the old birds are liking. And if you don't even know comics, you get to come on in. Right. So,
we got
it started.
Yeah, we got a couple of awesome things here. I mean, obviously, you may have seen it on Twitter or the other day before. We're going to talk about some more Marvel versus DCEU as far as culture goes and impacts go. We got a couple of things in related to a verse at the end that I think would be a really fun discussion point for everybody, and a couple of other little tidbits here and there. So, as far as starting it off, where do you want to begin, sir?
We can talk about the direction of MCU and DCU, and I just want to reiterate everybody, we're not going to be this is not going to talk every single show. We harp on it a little bit more than other comic book categories out there, or even companies, only because they're the big two, right? And it's they're affecting everything right now, so to speak. So if Image drops the Spawn movie, then it'll be somewhere around there if they make a huge impact. Speaking about impact, Invincible, and the boys, they're making an impact. We're going to discuss how that is too. We'll probably get a little bit more into that next episode, to give you guys a little bit more time to dive into Invincible and all that good stuff, because it's going to be pretty darn nice. But so we're going to go into how the movie and TV culture and the difference between the series and how that's really adapting to what's going on lately. If you notice, there's comic book stuff popping up everywhere. There's comic book movies, comic book TV shows. Netflix is adapting a lot to their stuff too. I feel like, to compete with Amazon, because Amazon is adapting a lot of comic book stuff too. They're kind of going toe to toe right now. Amazon was kind of leading the punch a little bit with introducing these rogue series that people don't have any investment in at all. And
you can throw Hulu in there as well.
Right, it goes viral so fast. And anytime you see a person in a cape now, people are talking about it, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. It's just they're excited. So I was always into comics, growing up, but my dad wasn't. But the more they keep putting martial arts in, traditional martial arts, Shang-Chi coming up, that stuff that's interesting people outside the spectrum, which is really nice, and something that we have to really think about. Matt, what are some things that you're seeing in the culture of comic books that's bringing in the TV front that is piquing your interest, or you see friends or even your wife's interest?
Yeah, it's I think one of the craziest things, if you go back 10 years when they first started, even a little before that, I mean, obviously they've been around before that with Christopher Reeves and Michael Keaton and even Nick Fury by David Hasselhoff on direct-to-DVD stuff. It's just the day and age we live in has gone so digital that we can really grab, whether it's reading a comic book, but on our iPad or our Android devices, or like we've been talking about TV shows, they're literally everywhere. And it's not just the big two, Marvel and DC, like we talked about. I mean, you could be watching something nowadays and not even have an idea that it came from a comic book. When I first saw the trailer, for instance, I'm gonna mess this up, for Netflix, it just came out yesterday. I watched 3 episodes. Jupiter Legacy, I believe it's called. Jupiter's Legacy is the title. Mark Miller, obviously. I knew the name, but when I was seeing the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is cool. What is this? Where this is coming from? And then it's Mark Miller. I was like, oh, this is a comic book. He created so many other things. I think it's gotten to a point where, because it's literally everywhere. I just said it's Hulu, excuse me. It's Amazon, obviously it's Disney Plus, it's HBO Max, it's regular TV shows now. When movie theaters are now opening, it's there too. It's becoming second nature that that you're going in to see it and it's like, oh wait, this is a comic book. And I love that because when you and I were growing up, it was the complete opposite. It was like you saw the cape and it was like, oh, can't talk about this. I'm going to get bullied or people are going to say stuff. It's so culturally acceptable now. And seeing now them branch out above and beyond their comfort zone with Superman, with Iron Man, with Batman, seeing now Shang-Chi come out, and seeing that culture and seeing that part of the world, obviously Wakanda forever, the new title, but Black Panther out there. It's beautiful, and it's leading to these discussions that we're having here today. And like, for instance, I said it last week too, my wife was watching WandaVision. I'm like, you watched WandaVision? Like, we are complete polar opposite when it comes to these things. I'm like, I are you kidding me? And you enjoyed it? Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it goes toe to toe, hand in hand, and I think he brought up some good points. I mean, you could be watching a TV drama on like, I don't know, TLC, and then it has to be, you next thing you know, you hear Clark Kent, and you're like, what? Like, you know, it could actually be a side story of Clark Kent just dealing with his life as a, you know, human, so human, and what he goes through without being Superman, and same thing with like Peter Parker. You know, they take these twists on these movies with Spider-Man. Spider-Man 1 Homecoming was more like, okay, he's becoming the Spider-Man, and then the second one, he's like, damn, I just want to be a teenager and just have real teenage stuff happen to me, but I can't because I'm being blocked by Spider-Man. So it's that internal conflict. Yep. You know, and the Spider-Verse is the same thing, you know, growing up and you know, as a person who he is, you know, Spider-Verse wasn't more so about the real struggle behind Miles Morales. It was kind of about building a bridge of likeness to him, and having people all relate to him. And Stan Lee at the end kind of recapped and was like, yeah, anybody can wear the mask, you know. But it wasn't about the real struggle. The real struggle Miles Morales was identity crisis, you know. It was just feeling like, you know, everyone's calling him the Black Spider-Man, just like Sam, you know, Anthony Mackie's character for Falcons, like the Black Falcon. You know, it's like you have to add the black part in it. You know, and that's just bringing culture into it as well, because it's stuff that we deal with everyday life and stuff. You know, it's pretty cool to know that, you know, comic books are just being accepted across the world and everywhere, and people may not even know anything about comic books, but they like the movies, they like the shows. And what you said about the digital age is pretty true. I mean, we have way more technology now to make this stuff really believable, and starting to like really tick in people's heads, what if, you know, the big what if. And I think that's why shows like The Boys and Invincible and Jupiter, like this what if superheroes were real, how would they be, what would they do, you know, would they all use their powers for good or not, you know. It's always that. So that discussion we could spend hours on. If you were a superhero, you had superpowers, you were Superman, you were a billionaire like Iron Man, and you have it, you know, where's that line, like you spoke about last week, you know, is Batman really a superhero, or is he just someone out there who's took justice into his own hands? I mean, he's crossed the line, he hasn't crossed the line, and you know, that's why I've actually really enjoyed The Boys, and that's why I've really enjoyed just watching the first couple of episodes of Jupiter. Like the discussion they're having, it's very real world, or at least a discussion that we would have. I know it's comic books, I know it's sci-fi and all that stuff, but you know, these are topics, and I like that they're not straying away from it. I like, you know, as much as I like to watch these episodes, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and just turn my brain off, I love how they're diving into these topics that we all see and we all feel head on. They're not going overboard, but they're allowing us to have a discussion broader than, oh, this guy's wearing a cape. Like once again, you know, hearing that, what you just said, Anthony Mackie, I'm not the Black Captain America, I'm Captain America. You know, I get it. You know, we're in this shit, like he said in that last episode during his speech. Hearing that, it's I'm happy. I'm one of the people, like I'm happy that they're doing it, because seeing that real world tone just make me get those goosebumps more. And face it, I'm not Black, but hearing and seeing it, Yeah, it makes it feel it. It makes it real.
I like it. I like it than just Superman flying around the world to reverse time. Like for me, I like it. I don't know about all you that are here, you know, chatting with us at home and watching the shows, but for me, that's one of the cool points to it, and we'd love to hear some of your thoughts as well if you're able to.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're lurking, feel free to comment on anything. You know, we love the conversation. Yeah, it's those intellectual conversations that always get me. It's like, you know, oh gosh, I have superpowers now, but the psychological effect on that, like, what does that do to you?
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like the idea of superpowers being of a sort of drug. You know, it's like a high, right? You got bullied all your life in school. You got superpowers, and you're in your final year of school. Somebody bullies you. What do? Do you laser beam them in the eyes and kill them? Like, you know, it's
you
like
Homelander.
Those are things that do you when you get angry. Like there's a whole book or a whole like article, I should say, written about how Spider-Man holds his punches back. Everybody he fights, because he would literally kill somebody if he punched somebody in the chest as hard as he wanted to. I mean, the dude can lift buses. You know, it's like. That's why I don't understand how people survive Superman's punches. He's Superman. Like when he punch you in the head, your head should spin around 3 times at the least, you know?
At least so 3
it's like,
times.
Yeah, it's like, do you hold your punches? How hard, you know, like, it's like if somebody, I know I've gotten really pissed off in my life before, but do I really put all my strength in this? Do I really get upset? Do I really go out there to my boss and say F you and then like burn the place down? Like when you have superpowers, what you have to go through that psychological battle of like, who can stop me? You know, it's like there's nobody that can stop me. Is there another superhero out there? Bring it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you get that adrenaline rush, and how do they cope with that? Do they actually have therapy? That's why I think it was really, 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 really important for them to have therapy in Falcon Winter Soldier, because boy, Wanda need therapy. You know, it's like it's like they feel like they have nobody to talk to. They're superheroes. You can't just go to a normal person and expect them to know what's going on. And the same thing, you know, I say with streamers these days. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, you streamers need therapy and stuff." Yeah, you're right. But who do you talk to?
It's true.
To understand your plight, because most people sit there and shame streamers for streaming. They're like, "Yo, it's not even a job, man. You're just sitting there playing video games." Yeah. Like, if you knew I put 30 hours into 2 days in a weekend, if you knew, like, you know, and not even talking about the prep that goes into it. So just think about how superheroes have to think about it. You know, it's kind of funny. And the comic side of things, the funny things, it's like, damn, I got to come up with a name now. You know, like it takes me forever to come up with a name in a video game. Oh, God forbid if I ever get superpowers. Like, what do I name myself? You know, Ion Boy?
Superhero name.
Yeah, it's like, it sucks. And then you have to worry about how society accepts your name, your superpowers, how you are, because that's another thing to think about, right? What if people talk shit about you?
Yeah.
You know,
how
like, what if, this guy sucks?
Yeah. You know, as individuals, and like I could speak to us because we're streamers, we're in front of people every day. You know, you get the random trolls here and there, even people you know, the backseat gamers, right? Like even your friends, you're at home playing with your friends, they're telling you what to do if you're in a 1v1 or if you're trying to climb the ladder in a video game or something. You're like, stop it. I get it. Now imagine having this power. Imagine having this ability, and all of a sudden you turn on the TV to a news, and Nighthawk plays out here taking justice into his own hand. Latest poll says 70% thinks he sucks. Oh, come on, man. Like, what are you going to do?
Imagine. What kind of name is Ion Boy? Like, or like people backseating you while you're fighting a villain. Like, you should punch him in this place. You know, like, or the real scary thing is you have these superpowers. You're badass. You have a great outfit. Everything is going great. You face off with this villain. But then you got to worry about everything else. You have to worry about property damage. Who finds these people?
Yeah.
Taxes, take care of them. Like, these are questions that aren't not answered. Well, I mean, they're kind of answered them in the MCU somewhat by putting a restriction on superheroes, but honestly, if you throw somebody in a building, it shoots through a building and makes that building, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I took architecture, right? Because that's what I wanted to be when I was growing up, was an architect for some stupid reason. If 1 inch is off of a measurement, you can that can kill the whole foundation. And I'm not even exaggerating. That's the thing. If somebody gets thrown through a building and knocks a piece of the building out, knocks a stable pillar, that whole building can crash. That's hundreds to thousands of people dead. Okay, you beat the villain. Oh, but what do you do? What about the families that lost somebody due to your superhero attack?
I mean, look at, speaking of Invincible, think about that scene during the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Like that was a moral thing that he was trying to do, and then seeing the hand on the ground, and like that was wild. And that's why, and this is actually a great discussion point. I'd love to hear what you think and what the community and chat thinks next week. Last week we were having a discussion about Invincible, and you have to go watch that final episode, Matt, and chat out there. We've got a couple of tweets of people absolutely loving it and binge watching it. Some of the topics that we're talking about here, and I'd like to talk about a little bit of a follow-up maybe next week, is watch at least definitely from what I've seen. I've only been able to get through the past 3 episodes on Netflix. If you have Netflix or know someone that has it, watch the first couple of episodes and listen to what we're talking about today and see how they tackle some of the things. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, because it's an interesting way they go about it, and it's an interesting way that we're hearing about it here, because it's wild. It is wild. And actually, this is a great point. The new nerd, that's what for me was so powerful about the opening of Batman vs Superman and all that destruction. I mean, for all the flack that movie gets, I mean, I personally liked it, of course, being a Superman fanboy, but all that destruction at the beginning and seeing him go through it all, bat flak, running through it, it was very interesting, and trying to fix it all afterwards. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, like what do you do? I mean, and these superhero movies, they speed through it, right? So like there's the destruction that happens, like the destruction that happened in Civil War in Africa, and like all that destruction. And then next thing you know, it's all fixed. It's like, okay. But in a real life situation,
that's not how it works.
It takes years to fix stuff like that, and then you have to put some kind of security measures in play, and then we poop all over the government. But what the hell does the government do? Do you tell a superhero no? Okay, superhero just shows up at your door and be like, "What did you just say to me? You want me to register what?"
Then you think of the cultural and global impact, because how are they going to see you? Like, we're talking as Americans, as in the U.S. What are they going to see you in the UK, let alone Russia and India and all these other places?
They'll nuke.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they have a superhero? Oh, we're nuking that place. Like, just get it off the map. Like, it's all this stuff. And also, you're thinking about global, on the global pollution and everything, radiation, you name it. Every time Superman goes into space and comes back, what the hell is he bringing back with him? I mean, so it's like, space AIDS, I mean, I don't know, but it's those are the real questions that I would love a show to like dive into. What if there was a superhero show where you looked in the perspective of a camera person, or the government, they took an episode and they kind of flipped the view on the real side of things, and not just stay with the superhero and be like, oh my God, like just show the distraught of the families. Like my husband and I were just walking, and my husband had a glass fall on him and cut him in half.
Yeah.
Who's going to answer to this? Do they go on about their normal lives? Do they get any money from the government? Who pays the taxes on this crap?
What's the superhero claim waiver for insurance policies? It's a joke, but it's true.
How do you just think about elections? Like, would you elect a superhero? Why don't a superhero be a president? That way he could just go out and battle himself. Like, so it's just so much. I mean, Captain America played president for a little bit in the MCU. He played mayor a little bit in the MCU, but he was hella targeted. Like, Hydra was all up in him when he went for president. So I'm just like,
oh man.
And then on the big side of things, how do superheroes deal with stuff? Just think about like Banner taking a poop, all right, and he just like hulks out while he's pooping and breaks the toilet, and then he has to deal with a broken toilet. He gets mad and he's ripping up his apartment complex, and then people down below, what's people down below are gonna say to Banner, hey, stop making noise, so it's just like, what do you do? Like,
the Hulk gets constipated and ruins.
I'm serious. Like, these are real life problems here, man. Like you just got to think about that stuff.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's just like you can't. Tony, when he had the thing in his chest, he can't go near magnets. Like damn, he goes near the fridge, like the magnet zoom, spells like beautiful child on his chest or something with like magnets from the refrigerator. It's just
oh my God.
Those are things I just think about. Like that's how where my mind goes. That's why I love The Boys. That's why I love The Boys, because it's like they're answering those questions. Like, the Flash. How the hell is he avoiding all that stuff in the street? But there's got to be one person he ran over. You know, like,
first episode of The Boys.
Excuse me, not ran over, but run through.
Run through. Yeah, you're not running someone over. You're running through them. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are things that I wish they would ask, and that's how culture is being brought into those episodes with these pseudo comic shows. I say pseudo because they're not the the big two, but they're being brought in on a real life standpoint. And kudos to The Boys for like they took a risk bringing The Boys, because honestly, when you see a superhero movie or a superhero show, you're automatically thinking like pretty boys in capes or pretty girls in whatever tights, and they're gonna run around and save the world, and that's just not it. And the real controversy behind The Boys is like, are they really superheroes? So if you haven't seen The Boys, highly recommend you watch it.
They have 2 seasons right now on Amazon Prime.
Yep, and season 1 we're
Amazon
definitely gonna be
Video,
talking about in depth. So episode 3. So next week we're gonna be going in depth with The Boys and Invincible. So please watch it, because we can't hold out any longer. We got to talk about these things because they're both fantastic. Now to move on, we're talking about Black Adam and Fantastic Four, features of both storylines coming through. I think it's a good sign for both Marvel and DC. We'll start with DC this time. Black Adam looks fantastic. Dwayne Johnson looks fantastic. He's in the best shape of his life.
If there's a human being out on this planet that looks
that is a superhero,
like a superhero, acts like one, like, I mean, it's him. I mean, he's a beast. He's awesome. He's insane.
It's funny that you said that. I actually, if there was a superhero, it would be Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, absolutely.
He literally
Hands
is
down.
a superhero.
He's everything.
He's rich as hell. He's a good looking dude. He's 6 foot something, think 6'4", some crazy thing like that.
He's charismatic.
Huge. He's lived that life of a superhero where he was poor.
$7 production, his production company, because at one point he literally had $7 to his name,
and didn't even live with his family. His family gave him to someone, a friend who took care of him. I remember he said that he bought his car from a crackhead, his first car. And he lived in that thing for a while. And the guy that was his quote unquote father likeness, I could say right then and there. I watched the episode. I follow his Instagram. I follow pretty much everything he does because I love wonderful human beings. And he went and revisited him. He brought him a Silverado, like this gigantic ass Silverado, and they were talking about that story, and it just touched me because, damn, Dwayne. Some people say that Dwayne Johnson's like, his demeanor and his personality is fake. There's no way, dude.
No way.
Like,
you can't be doing that for this long. Being that generous, being that nice of an individual, like the way he is, you can't
and backwards, right?
Yeah, you can't keep that fakeness up for this long. Yeah. Like, it is him, and actually that's kind of like it kind of gives you hope, right? Kind of like how Superman, the S, it stands for hope. Like with him, like it gives you hope that we as human beings, right? Like, we can strive to be and do something like that for all the excuse my language, shit that's going on in the world and individuals and finances and health and everything. You see what he's doing. I mean, he worked his ass off to get there, right? He worked his behind off to get there, but it gives you hope. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, he's an embodiment of a superhero. I mean, he goes to his day loving his life, no matter what. He has bad days. He literally put a post out not too long ago about, like, dude, I'm not having a good day today.
Yep.
But he's like, I think about everybody else and the stuff that they go through and how blessed I am in my life. That's not an excuse to push your problems under a rug. It's okay to live in problems. That makes you human, right? But I think that's the thing that a lot of these comic book movies and shows kind of are starting to pull in, but failed so many times before, and that's why it never caught fire, right? I think now the MCU dealing with like real life ability, like having that real life talk about the Hero Registration Act and how they have to put on restraints because you're killing people out here. You're destroying property we can't replace, and that's a real life situation. The blip, people blipping back into somebody's house and you don't know what to do. Like, holy shit, I live here. You live here now. Well, what are we gonna do here? So it's like,
it's gonna work.
Those are real life things, and not telling how many people killed each other from the blip.
Yeah,
I know dang good well somebody blipped in my house, and I'm half naked. I got a baseball bat in my hand. They gonna get it. I don't know who you are. You in my house, so it's like those are things that we really have to think about. But yeah, Dwayne Johnson is Black Adam. He's a perfect person for it because he's living the life of a superhero already. He doesn't have to act that part. The thing that he has to act is bring in, Black Adam's persona, but that's easy for him to do. And, transitioning from a wrestler to a movie star, he had lots of years of practice. I literally watched Dwayne Johnson grow in many ways, muscles included. The guy owns so many businesses already, and a lot of his businesses are putting money back into the community and stuff like that. So I also believe that he invested in this movie as well. So it's
his production company and him are producers, which means they invested into it. So one of the things, you think of DC, it's another DC movie, blah, 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 blah. It's actually not. Even though the character Black Adam is DC, this is, I believe, New Line and something else. It's not Warner Brothers and it's not DC.
Yeah, it's not Warner Brothers.
So even though this is a DC character coming to life, kind of like Shazam as well, this is not tied into that structure. So if you have worries just because of thinking of that, you can strike that right away. And the cool thing about Black Adam is, one thing we keep on talking about superhero, he's really not. He's more. He's kind of that gray area. He's portrayed
Superman.
more
Superman's
of a
not a
villain.
superhero either.
Yeah, he's always portrayed as a villain at the end.
Yeah.
But if you look at where he came from and his struggle and what he wanted to do for his loved ones and his community, like where he came from, to get them out of oppression and save lives, it's just that power that we talked about earlier.
Egyptian,
Egyptian. Yep, he is.
Yeah,
how it gets to him. It's a very interesting story, and seeing them dive into it, especially, I mean, it's something small, but seeing him not wear any rubber pads or muscles, he's huge. It's gonna be a nice refresh, and I think the reason why they're getting this out there now is because of The Boys, because of Invincible, seeing the little bit of the darker badness or the craziness that you can get out there, and just you're not getting the basic save somebody and then it's all like kissing babies and shaking hands. Seeing the grittiness, it's going to be fun with this character.
Yeah, and I really hope they bring that to. I know it's a time and place for everything, but I want to see Spider-Man go through the real. Because Spider-Man is being portrayed as this happy-go-lucky guy that got lucky. I mean, he's just lucky. He's always getting lucky, and that's just not the real Spider-Man, dude. It's the same thing. Like, that's why I loved Spawn back in the day. I was like, dude, Todd McFarlane took a real life situation, because Todd McFarlane was dealing with racism back then, right? Because he originally did Spider-Man, and him, and unfortunately, the powers that may be, Stan Lee and crew, didn't like the fact that he designed Spider-Man as a black character. So there was controversy. He had his words. They didn't like it, so he moved on, and he said, you know what? I'm going to create my own comic book company and do my own thing. And their main character is going to be black, based off of my neighbor, who's like his best friend. And wow, what a fantastic story he was playing. And granted, he fell off the map, and it's because Todd McFarlane gets his head and many other things, but it's the only thing you know him about. You only know him about Spawn, and I think that's a flaw for him. The guy does incredible stuff. He makes the best freaking toys. Good lord,
McFarlane toys are very, very good. Yep.
Yeah, hella detailed. The dude can draw. He can write. There's so much going on with him, and I wish the more he gets involved. I think he's involved with a lot of Mortal Kombat stuff as well. I mean, his toy line is covering everything dark and gritty, like literally. Todd McFarlane toys is just it's amazing. So it's just like, dude, we need to have these real life conversations. We need to have these real, put some blood in there, man. That's why I love Invincible, and I can't wait to talk about it. I know we keep bringing it up, but god dang it, man. What a fantastic animation that was, and just overall story. Steve Ewan, if I said his name right, just did such a wonderful job portraying Mark. Yep. My God, I did not know he had it in him, because all I know him from is Walking Dead, honestly. And I know he did other movies and shows, but still. And it's like, damn, he did a good job with Mark. That emotional turmoil.
Oh, the last 10 minutes of that first last episode, 10, 15 minutes of that last episode, the way they were talking back and forth to each other.
What's the dude from J. Jonah Jameson? What's his name?
Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. J. Jonah Jameson in DC. He was not J.K. Rowling.
Guy's name.
He played.
What?
Yeah, he also played Commissioner Gordon in the recent.
Yeah. Whatever
Justice
his
League.
name
Whatever
is.
his name
God
is. Yeah.
forbid. We'll figure it out.
Oh my God, what is his name?
Holy crap. Like, holy crap, dude! He's the voice. He's the voice of.
He's the voice of Omni-Man, and it's absolutely fantastic.
My God, did he kill it? Like these actors that I just did not know that they. Yeah, J.K. Simmons. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I got the J.K. right. I don't know. I wasn't Rowling, clearly.
My God, and like I said, we'll go in depth next week because I really want to talk about it so bad. But my goodness, that he did dude. That whole cast did a fantastic job. Who did the mother? Was it Michelle? No, it wasn't Michelle. It was Jen something. Who voiced the mother, Dorothy, or what's her name? Dorothy? I can't remember on the top of my head. Dorothy something. But anyway, that whole cast was absolutely fantastic. And I'm talking about every voice actor did their job hella well. Normally I hate dubs, just in general and period when it comes to animation.
So it's where the anime comes from.
Yeah, well, especially the anime world. But like, even in the comic dubs, they're just kind of like, over the top, it's like they're trying to be anime, but they need to stop.
Sandra Oh, yep, that's it.
Yeah, Sandra. Oh my gosh, she was so good. But yeah, DC did really. You can tell that they got some DC animators, 100%, because that I thought it was a DC show before anything came through because the style is exactly. What was the Flashpoint? Maybe
one of the recent DC
Young Justice. Yeah, it's definitely one of those. But anyway, I don't want to harp on it because I know we're talking about next week, but make sure you guys please watch Invincible because next week is spoiler alert. It's 100%. We're going to go through it and we're going to talk about our favorite moments and stuff because holy shit, what a show, dude. It's just like The Boys. It's like those moments in comic book movies or anything or any movies in general, not even comic books, that you're sitting there and you're just watching something like, oh, okay, yeah. And then it just slaps you, like literally comic book punches the hell out of you. And you're just sitting there like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
Episode 1, it was like,
the three things that I think separate that show apart above everything is two things that we talked about. The voice acting, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, sometimes the voice acting can get very, very corny. And I like how they did and how they were directed these actors to portray these characters is absolutely fantastic. The storytelling, I mean, Robert Kirkman himself said, when I wrote this, I was a novice. I'm taking liberties and changing things here because I'm better. And I'm thinking it's suiting the show so much more now. Yeah. I mean, I'm so happy that he said that and he's doing it. And then thirdly, it's a mix between anime and DC/Marvel, like direct to DVD films. I like how that last 15 minutes of that first episode, there's many anime pieces to it, but they don't go all in. Like when he holding the head and he's shaking it, that's very anime. The expressions, holding the weird faces, they got a little bit of anime in it, but they don't go all the way. I love how they mix it. Yeah. I like how they mix it. And even there's subtle notes too. Like they're very, very particular. Like it's not a spoiler, but what Omni-Man does at the last episode, he brings a character through a ship and then up the ship, but he doesn't go through the same because he doesn't care about the destruction. He's not trying to save anything. Like it's really cool what they do.
It's really, really good. But like I said, we'll hop on it more.
Sorry.
We'll move on to the next topic. Like we were, this show is more about culture and everything. I brought up a topic. We were talking, like we always do these like pre-show topic discussions, and disabled heroes I think is a very, very good topic to talk about because they don't really get much love as everyone else. I mean, you think about Professor X, you think about Daredevil, you think about like I would even say Cyclops at this point. He can't just like take some glasses off and look at his loved ones the same, I mean, what does that really do? Like, what does that bring to the forefront? Like, these people are, I think it's a powerful message, and it's something to think about. The powerful message being, these are disabled people, right? And like, just like disabled people out in the world, and they don't let their disability hold them back, right? So it's like Daredevil. I mean, granted, we could say disabled. I mean, because granted, he's blind, quote unquote. He still has the power to see. It just is not in the same way that me and you see. But Professor X, you know, and some of this funny, it was like a discussion that's brought up, and I think there's even a meme about it. It's like, if Xavier X can move stuff with his mind, why can't he move his legs? Like, and I never thought about that until somebody brought that up to me, and I was like, wow, I did not think of that. Or he's Professor X, like somebody could build him some robotic legs, he'd be good to go. But I think it's the grounding point of like being Professor X, knowing that you could do this, but the wheelchair makes him still grounded as a human, because in first class, he didn't know what the hell was going on in his head. You know, and he just wanted to be normal. He's like, I'm sick of hearing these voices. I'm going crazy. I don't want this anymore. You know, it's like he want to be human again. And that's a really interesting thing. If you get superhero powers, and once you know the responsibility laid on you, you could be a superhero bum, right? And just chill in your house all day and not do anything. You could, like, if you can move stuff, you can literally change channels with your mind and eat chips, have them float in your mouth if you want to, right? Yeah. But
pop the top on a cola. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's a discussion for you, chat. If you had superpowers, would you just be playing video games without touching them? Or would you be floating chips in your mouth? Or you know, finding weird ways to wash your body? Like, what would you do? Or would you go out there and take responsibility and like see stuff on the news and go? And how would you start? You know, and those are things I nerdily think about all the time, is like, if something happened today, like a meteorite hit the earth, and I'm dumb enough to go up and touch it, and I get superhero powers or something, what would I do? You know, would I go out there and try to fix the world's problems? Because, hey, depending on what kind of superhero you are, you could still die.
Yeah.
You can still get shot in the head. Like, if you don't have regenerative powers, who gives a crap that you can stretch your limbs 50 feet? You know, like, somebody be like, oh, great. Wow, nice.
Yep.
What you gonna do now?
If you don't have like metal skin, you're vulnerable to things.
What if you have metal skin, you go out in the rain and you rust? Are you getting stainless steel?
Yep.
You know, it's like, those are things, you know. Woodman, are you treated wood? Termites?
Am I treated?
Here you go.
Termite bugs. You know, like, how is Groot, man? Where are all these bugs coming from? What's happening? But actually, that's a good one, Papa Smurf. Wasn't Hancock a lazy superhero? I mean,
he was, but he took responsibility, right?
Yeah, he was drunk, not lazy, but both actually at the same time.
Both, and homeless.
And homeless. He was there. He was a trifecta there. There we go.
And black. He was like a homeless black drunk man. He was like every stereotype that people labeled back then.
Yeah.
You know, and people didn't give it. People, and the funny thing about that movie, people knew he had superpowers. They were just like, oh God, here comes Hancock. You know,
here he comes. Yep.
So, you know, he had to take motivation to go out there and do the right thing. Yeah. It's just like being a kid in high school that had a rough time that don't want to go to college, or being a college dropout. You know, you're staying at home with your parents in the basement. You know, your parents are like, yo, you got to get out there and do something with your life, man. You have so much life ahead of you. Don't waste it like I did, you know? So those are stories. All right, let's see what chat has to say. Most people want to see themselves as Superman or Batman, when really most people would be Black Adam or Deathstroke, and the anti-hero. Yeah, absolutely. And what a great thing to say, because that's something we were talking about earlier. If he wasn't here, we were like, if you get superpowers, what are you going to do? Think about it. Let's say you have a kid that your wife left you because she just hates you and what you do, left you for somebody else. You have a kid, you have child support.
You're a superhero. She knows you're never home. She's better off going to figure out something else. So you being a hero actually destroyed your relationship, maybe.
Right. Do you rob a bank and get money to pay your child support? Do you, like, just because you're a superhero doesn't mean you're going to be rich, right?
Yeah.
If anything, you're going to be worse off, because getting a job is not going to be the same. What are you going to do? Clock in, it's 9 o'clock, a house burning down 2 blocks down the road. You go save it, you come back. Did you clock out for your lunch break? Like, shut up. You know what I done? You know, it's like, okay, I just snapped my boss's neck. I'm in trouble. You know,
this is not going to go good. Yeah.
Yeah. So think about the real life stuff that we deal with. What do we do? Yeah, I would 100% be an anti-hero.
Yeah.
I would probably be a vigilante, because it's like, who am I to say? You think about the mental state, Matt, of going into a convenience store, right? And somebody's hard off their luck. They're drunk on drugs, has a gun somehow, and holds up the convenience person, but you could tell in their eyes they don't want to pull the trigger. But they just want money.
They need $5 or whatever it is.
And and the convenience store person is being stupid and denying them the money, because no money is worth dying over, right? But it's my convenience store. I'm not going to have nobody. I'm sick of people coming in here robbing. This neighborhood sucks. Nobody's out there doing anything for me. Never again. And then next thing you know, it's a standoff. He pulls out a sawed-off shotgun. What do? Do you side with the convenience store person? Do you get in the middle of it and get shot? Do you die? Then they kill each other? Like, so it's like all those mental boundaries that are being bought into the MCU, DCU, and all these other movies and shows and cartoons and comic books. And it's such a good avenue to take. And I'm glad they're finally taking it, you know?
Yeah, and I kind of like how they dove into it a little bit with Civil War, with the with the act of needing to show who you are and I am Iron Man and everything, because that's also another one just the topic. You know, you would be Black Adam or Deathstroke more than a Superman or Batman, but you know, knowing that the world we live in, how easy or how hard is it to keep your identity safe?
Yeah.
I mean, even as streamers, we have to go to lengths to protect ourselves because people are stupid. What about, you know, what about if you have this power and you have loved ones around you, how you're going to be targeted instead of just as Nighthawk, but not Matt? Like, how are you going to be able to do that? Because let's be honest, I mean, the way information is accessible nowadays, like, I feel like it would be almost impossible. And that's even a scarier thought at that point.
Super scary, dude. Yeah. Think about it. Like, you have a newborn, right? Yeah. And it's like, all right, you what are you gonna do? Have the baby in a bathtub at home? You go to a hospital, people have your DNA, you know, and it's just like, all right, a superhero can access that.
Yeah.
or our supervillain can access that, or people with money can get your whole life. You know, and it's funny, they started bringing these into comics. It's like, oh, you're a superhero, you have all these powers, great. I have your wife and your kid. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna kill me? Well, they'll die first. You know, and it's just like, okay, the turmoil. Then you're just at your complete, utter weakness, right? It's just like, all right, I have all these superpowers, but I'm useless. I can't do anything. I have to watch these people do that. Or what if somebody just makes a deal with you and decides to pay for every problem in your life as a superhero, and all you have to do is like shake up a few things here and there.
Yeah, you're their private security in that sense, or you're a work for hire at that point. Because you're right, like that's actually that's a great point too. Like you have superpowers tomorrow. You know, we're doing this day job. You know, you're hearing all these things, you're seeing all these things. You want to be out there, but I gotta pay bills. You know, but then am I part of the government? Then can't not go over like in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. You know, you're getting close. You're getting close at that first scene. You can't. Once you get over there, you're screwing everything up. You kind of got to let them go. That's a very great, like, it's a very gray area to figure out how you're going to go by doing those things.
I mean, yeah, Sam said it himself, or Anthony Mackie's character, Sam said it himself. He's like, just because I'm an Avenger don't mean I'm rich. I'm broke.
Yep. That's
you know,
a great
I'm
line.
trying to make ends meet. Yep. You know, I mean, he doesn't get approved for a loan. The dude saved the world and doesn't get approved for a freaking loan. You know, so it's like, all right, I have to worry about my credit score. You know, that's the real villain. It's the credit score. You know, I got to pay my student loans back, man. I don't want to just fly to the office and snap everybody's neck and not worry about it. But you know, it's just like, and I think even in Winter Soldier, there was like, you know, you try to cure one problem, and then another problem pops up in place of that problem. A person that has a vision or something, everyone has followers. Even the worst people in the world has followers, right? Even racist people that have supremacy groups has followers. Even idiot people with money has followers because they have people in their pocket. You kill that person off, right? Because you think that's like stamping out the problem. But then it's a hydra, right? You cut off one head, two pop out, and it's like, and it's a continuous battle to do that. So that's why we have superhero groups. And then the cool thing about superhero groups is you have inner turmoil inside those two. Yep. Then you have real life problems, and the boys bring that out. And like I said, we'll talk more about that next episode. So you have assignments to watch Invincible and Boys, where
chop.
I mean, there was a thing about like feminism and like being a woman superhero with egotistical male idiots who still think about sex, still think about all this stuff. What if superheroes walking around just forcing themselves on people? What are you gonna do? You know, so it's just like these problems. How do you cope with it, and how do people fight back? Right? How do people fight back to the superheroes? Because I mean, that's such an Invincible, again, I keep bringing these up, but they're the only ones that really talk about this. It's like people are fighting back.
Yeah.
But there is more, as much as you fight back, you realize how much of a peon you are, you know? But anyway, it goes with that. If you're a hero for hire, no Marvel pun intended, at what point does it turn into mandated superheroing like the boys? Exactly. Money talks. And it still talks, right? Money is still the boss. It's the ultimate evil. And I kind of love how they put that out there. Like money, power, sex, drugs, ultimate evil. Because at that point, when you're a superhero, you feel oblivious to stuff. You feel impenetrable. But you're being used.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you find out when you're being used? I know when I'm found out I'm being used, I get freaking pissed.
Yeah.
Just imagine having superpowers being pissed.
Yeah, now are you just going to get back to Bunny and say it never happened? It's out there. They're probably going to use you for blackmail then. So what are you going to do? You're going to take them out. You're going to bring them to jail. You were part of something. It's depending on what that something is. It's this is actually a really, really fun topic to discuss.
Yeah, it's the gray area, man. And like, what about speaking about gray areas, what about the gray superheroes that are just sitting back watching, taking notes, looking at Batman go out there and just create shit, and Superman, and then they stand up and they come in the mix of things. And what if your favorite superhero gets beat? That's gotta happen, right? It's got. I mean, Bane straight up broke Batman's back.
Your friend goes back. He goes, "Ha! Told you, Batman sucked," or whatever it was, like whatever your name is out there. You know, because this is. You know, where would that line be for you, right? Because you have the Batmans, I never kill. I always take him into jail, right? And they keep on coming back. And there's the Red Hood, for instance. It's like your way is faulty, right? It's like you got to take these people out. They keep on coming back. They keep on coming back. Superman, Truth, Justice, and America. You are literally an alien who is, for all intents and purposes, invincible, with the exception of one little thing. And what happens, like you said before, when your family, someone messes with you and they do something your family to harm them, are you going to go by that code again? Like, what is that snapping point? Because once you go to that place, and that's why I love, if you have an opportunity out there, it's not the run of your mill superhero comic book series. It's not Superman shown in the greatest light as what we all know him for. If you have an opportunity to go out and read the Injustice comics starting from 1, I mean, it's a lot of the things we're talking about today. I mean, Scarecrow hits Superman with fear toxin. He thinks he's going against Doomsday. It's not Doomsday. It's Lois Lane, his love of his life, with their unborn child. He fights her, brings her up into space, and doesn't realize until he hears 2 heartbeats. He snaps. Batman's trying to tone him down, saying, "You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this." And he puts his fist through Joker's chest. Like, everyone has a snapping point, and it's all out chaos after that in that world. And if we were that, like, you got to be that moral gray almost to some extent. And it's sad to say because you want to be hope, but it's the real world.
Yeah, you got to be emotionless at that point. And I mean, what a way to be. And at that point, you don't want superhero powers. So it's like, we always talk about how we wish we can do this, we wish we could do that, we wish we can, like, you know, I always ask this question, like, well, if you had superhero powers, what would it be? And a lot of people say teleportation. I'm like, okay, what if you teleport into a train by accident? Like, how do you know where you're going? Like, these are things that you have to think about, you know? Your body's not resilient. All right, you have the teleportation power. That's all you have. What are you going to do with it? What's your limitations? What's your weakness? And like, these are things that you have to think about. And yeah, like Superman, who is he to say he's justice, right? He's an alien, for God's sakes. His neural makeup in his head doesn't work like humans work. He doesn't get it. And again, Invincible takes from all of these comics, especially Superman.
Oh yeah.
Really dives into that psychiatric part of it and say, hey, if I'm an alien from a different planet, I don't know shit, but my body is different. I know I'm built different. I know I can do whatever I want to do. But how do I adapt to these puny humans? You know, What if Clark Kent got so mad one day because, I don't know, he spilt his coffee on his shirt and he's like, damn it. And somebody was walking, he backslaps him and knocks their head off. It's just like, how do you adjust?
Oh, man.
He's always like, I'll be right there, Lois. No problem. It's like, no, that's not how he would be.
That's not how things work.
Holy crap. Don't even get me on the subject about how do you have sex as a hero? Like, what does Superman do? Anyway.
I hold back. No.
Yeah, it's like, it's like emotions, adrenaline, all that stuff, right? I mean, Superman like staring into Lois Lane's eyes and oh shit, so it's like, it's like these real world problems that I love thinking up and bringing up, and I'm like, how does this work?
I love this comment because it's so true. I never sit in New York traffic again with teleporting powers. Very, very true. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watch Crisis Infinite Earth or CW, but it's Tom Welling. Superman said he gave up his powers so he didn't have to deal with the BS. Yeah, that's real life stuff, man. That's the ultimate snap, right? It's like, I don't want this anymore. I'm just gonna be living normal. But you can't just click off the superhero switch. I mean, you can not save people. Peter Parker tried to do it for a long time when he found out MJ was dead, and then after that he found out MJ was a clone. He was like freaking done, bro. Like, he was just like, I don't care anymore. You could see the trauma of walking down the street and a buildings burning and children are screaming. He just let them burn up, bro. Are you just as bad as killing them? Like, you have to ask those questions. Like, is he just as bad as whoever lit the fire?
And I love how you talk about Spider-Man in that light, because these things that you're talking about with Spider-Man, as someone who hasn't dove into the comics as much as I've wanted to, especially on the Marvel side of things, hearing these stories about him, I would never think it. And it's wild because obviously there's multiple different versions of Spider-Man and men, but then you have these stories around him. Like, I think one of the things we talked about before we even went live here for the first time was how Peter Parker was really a villain for a long time too. It's like, what?
Yeah, he was the ultimate villain, man. That was the starting point. Is losing his love. Peter Parker is surrounded by death. Everybody that he gets close to and loves dies. Like, that's the real darkness of Peter Parker. It's like Uncle Ben, Aunt May, his parents, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, and his other love, it was I forgot this Michelle something. She was a Hispanic lady. All of them die, and it's just like, he's like, everyone that comes near me dies, and everyone comes for me. Like, everybody goes for Spider-Man. He's like the pinnacle of villain. Like, if you a real villain, you take down Spider-Man. And it's kind of like how Batman is. It's like, you're a real villain, you take down Batman. And it's just like, when is the snapping point? And Peter Parker snaps. He gets with Carnage when his endorphins and stuff all jacked up, and then like freaking Carnage is just eating this shit up. He's like, yes, kill them all, because he's been on a serial killer's blood for God knows how long. So he's just like, oh, Peter Parker, one of the strongest people in the world. Let's just blow everything up. And Peter Parker's like, yeah, and then it's dangerous because he's stupid smart. So he designs his freaking laser beam, and he's gonna take out the whole Earth, because at this point he doesn't care what happens to him. He wants people to feel his pain that he's surrounded by.
You know what? Actually, that's. I just realized this now, and unless I'm missing something, obviously Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man shows how smart he is. This most recent version.
No, they showed it.
Wait, when did
Remember, he was in chemical class and he made that compound to reverse the agents of the.
Oh yeah. It's like, it's not a harping point though, like the other ones, and I like that. They're more on him being a kid, and I like that.
Because that's the ultimate Spider-Man at the end of the day. It's like a kid dealing with kid problems with superhero powers, and in the struggle of holding back and not just destroying Flash Thompson's face, or like being the best in the school, or slam dunking a ball that he couldn't do, or being the fastest. That's why I really like Spider-Man, because they really focused on that a lot. And in the comics, when he was getting his powers, they focused on that more than him being he was a horrible superhero. He was getting beat by Boomerang Man, or Boomerang, whatever his name is. For God's sakes, it's poop character getting beat by him. And the lessons that he learned when Rhino like beat his ass for the first time, or Kingpin just absolutely destroyed him. And Kingpin still to this day destroys him. And God, that's one thing I love. If I can just meld DC and Marvel together to be the perfect universe, because Kingpin is such a great villain.
Oh yeah.
I don't even want to call him a villain, because the things that Kingpin is fighting for is not too villainous.
I love what they did with him in Spider-Verse.
Yeah. They kind of broaden in that line, and it's the same thing with Daredevil. Kingpin is trying to take over areas of New York, the bad areas of New York, and redo it because he feels like it's a piece of crap.
Yep.
He's been abused all his life. His dad was a piece of shit. All that stuff that happened in his life, he's trying to make a better world, but he's putting it in his vision. And yes, that's maybe not the right way to go about it. But who's telling is it or is it not? The government that's taking care of everybody, they don't give a shit about the lower class. They don't care about Hell's Kitchen.
No, they don't.
He does, and he's just doing it his way. But, of course, like Daredevil and all this stuff, they feel like, oh, this is not right, justice. But who are you really fighting for? And the superheroes are fighting for the real evil. And I love that controversy that goes on in these comics, and it's not as black and white as DC is. And then DC has gray areas too, because we're going to get into a little bit more of a Batman and Moon Knight a little bit later. But I mean, Batman is, oh my gosh, the stuff that this dude is dealing with, and he's getting his ass whipped. I mean, granted, Batman beats people up, but he goes home with like busted ribs, concussions and stuff. And like, oh my God, speaking of which, I really want a goddamn comment about Alfred, because Alfred's a badass, by the way.
Alfred is amazing.
Like,
so
God.
Good.
I don't know why they haven't come out with a series called Alfred yet. That would be so badass. For DC, hello, if you're listening, dude.
Actually,
Alfred.
Didn't they come out with Pennyworth? Chad, wasn't there a it's not like him now. It's not like a Michael Caine, like he's been there for a while. It's more of like where he came from, kind of like a Jarvis in like World War II era. They never really did a like nowadays.
Yeah, they should show the like secret agent version of him.
I think the closest thing was Gotham's Pennyworth.
Yeah,
Gotham, like how he got into it because he was a little bit younger, right?
Right, and he like how he trained Bruce from a young age. And
but yeah, I mean, he's a badass. He really
badass. I want to know if he's on the line of badasses Ra's al Ghul. I mean, obviously not but I want to know if he's like on that level.
Yeah.
What if they dipped into Alfred a little bit, and what if Alfred was holding back the whole time? Because there's all that weird stuff about Batman being a superhero at this point, right? Like they don't call him super, they call him metahumans. There was like a line of stuff that I was reading about Batman actually having powers, regenerative powers. They're not strong, but he's a metahuman, right? And I'm just like, okay, that makes sense, because I want to know why this guy can fall from like way up high and hit the ground and get back up and run. Like what? It's not just the suit. You can't keep telling me that,
Yeah, and it's not like it's not Iron Man. It's literally just what is it, leather that you're wearing or whatever it is. You're not wearing anything crazy.
Yeah, so I want to know what's up with that. Like I wouldn't mind Batman being a metahuman, because my goodness, it'll explain a lot more. Because you can't just go from him getting his back broken by Bane to like being able to fall off a building. Because last time I checked, I know Bane is strong, but if you fall 1,000 feet in the air and hit the ground, I'm pretty sure that's a little bit worse than getting your back broken by Bane. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's the same impact.
Like that was actually one of the scenes I liked in, I don't remember if it was Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. Where he woke up, his body is beat to shit, Christian Bale, right? And he's just like, all right, he takes a sip, goes down and starts doing push-ups. But it's like, you and me, it's like, no, I must still be in bed for at least another week.
Bro, we can't even take a darn vaccination shot in our arm. We let alone getting our asses whipped. Shoot. Oh, can you imagine Batman getting a vaccination shot? Yeah, it hurts. Yeah.
Shake it off. Oh my God.
I just can't. Anyway. Alfred series by Scott Snyder would be so good. Yeah. I take it. I think Snyder is very talented.
Yes.
I don't think he's not. And I think that if he went on a smaller scale, I think he could make magic happen. Focusing on Snyder. I want a Ra's al Ghul movie.
I'm gonna tell you right now. The League of Assassins and his character.
Yes.
It's so good.
Too much there. Way too much there not to harp on it. Like his daughter, all that stuff is there.
Talia.
Is it Dick Grayson that's the one that's the
Damien.
Dick is Knight.
Damien.
Yes.
Damien Wayne is such a good character.
I love that character.
Such a good character because he is Red Hood, but but Bruce's actual son, and the when he actually goes and takes the life, and even Damien when he accidentally takes a life, Court of Owls is such a good
God, don't even get me started.
Comic book series. There's one that you need to I'll read. Chat. The Court of Owls is sick. An amazing comic book series. So, like what the things that Damien does, like the DC animated series, the Talon just shoves his neck into Damien's sword. And you see Damien like, I just took a life, but I didn't take a life. And Batman's like, oh my God, what did you just do? It's so amazing the way it's wrote.
What was the show, the cartoon, the animation with Batman had to do with 3 Robins? And he brought his son in the mix, and him and Dick Grayson got into it because Damien was just like, oh, I'm gonna cut this person's head off. I mean, this is easy. He's like, why are you thinking about it? There was what animation was I watched it like 2 years ago.
Was it a movie or a series?
It was an animation movie. It was when Bruce Wayne finally visits his son. He had to go to Ra's al Ghul.
Oh yeah, he goes to the place where Ra's al Ghul is.
The League of Assassins. Yeah, and his son is there, and his son is like, is it a son of Batman? It might be. His son is just like a freaking ninja assassin, bro. He's like, I don't understand why you have to deal with thinking about this.
Yes, son of Batman. It is son of Batman.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love this attitude. He was just like, this is easy. Just kill him. And he's like, yeah. I was just like, yes. Point taken. But I would love a series on Ra's al Ghul. Arrow's Ra's al Ghul was really good. I enjoyed that. It really opened the doors for stuff. Especially, seeing him in a split second of what Batman training was in Batman Rises or whatever it was. That League of Assassins, Court of Owls, that's stuff that they should really harp on, because boy, I'm gonna tell you, you have no way but to really go dark with it, and then just Ra's al Ghul in general. God, what a badass character he is, man. He just doesn't get justice, just doesn't, and Arrow was the closest thing that he had to justice.
Yeah, like I understood why they did it and portrayed him in that certain fashion in the Christian Bale Batman movies and the League of Assassins. I thought it was actually a pretty good.
He was such a nice guy, though.
Yeah, you got what? Liam Neeson being so nice out there and the way they're doing everything, but I didn't. My protege. I didn't. They obviously changed it. It's like Ra's al Ghul is a way of life, not an individual, but it really is an individual. I love how they portrayed him actually going into the video game world. I liked his story, Talia's story in Batman Arkham Knight. Not Arkham Knight, Arkham City. I thought that was really cool the way they did it. It was actually one of the greatest and fun, almost awesome boss battles, in addition to Mr. Freeze. But instead of what DC is doing now in the movies with running off a different version of Batman and changing the game up, I would love them to do that, like what we were just talking about. Get your mainstay in the movies going and use that as a branching point off to tell these other stories, whether it's on HBO Max or whether it's on movies, the story of Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, however you want to pronounce it, and the League of Assassins, because that right there, I don't want it to be a movie. I want that to be a series, because
a series would be dope.
Kind of like me, and I've said this before too, I know it's not comic, but like Ready Player One is one of my favorite books of all time, and I was so excited for the movie, but you can't make that book into a 3-hour movie. That needs to be a series, and the same thing with the League of Assassins.
I enjoyed the movie more than I enjoyed the book.
What?
Yeah.
No way, dude.
I felt there was so much dead air in that book. I was just like,
dude. Okay, so I hate reading. I mean, I love comic books, but I am so bad with like reading books stuff, because of like, you have to read the Odyssey, you have to read, this, like, it's not
just don't read the Wheel of Time, because that's a very overrated.
I've heard, but they got a show coming out on that now too.
Hopefully it's not as bad as the book one is.
One of my friends absolutely loves the Wheel of Time, and it's so funny that you're like the complete complete opposite. I read that book 5 times. I read Player Ready One 5 times. I absolutely love that book.
The book was good, but I was just like, oh my God, this is like dragging out. Like, so I don't know. Normally I'm the opposite. Normally I'm like, my God, they like Harry Potter. The books were great. The movies, I couldn't stand them. I hated them. Like I hated them, and not. I mean, that's
usually how it goes. If you read something, it's usually exactly what you said. Like my wife reads everything. She's huge into reading. Hunger Games, Twilight, obviously not just that stuff, a million other things. She loves actually the prequel to the Hunger Games as well was absolutely fantastic. I forget what it's called, but she said it was one of her favorite books most recently. She always says you have to read the books because the movies are good, but they're nowhere near
Movies are cliff notes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to. I think the Hunger Games series is something I'm going to dive into after I finish my Forgotten Realm stuff. It's taking me forever, but moving on.
So sidetrack.
We're going to talk about. We get a little bit sidetracked, but very great discussion. This has been such a fun episode, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. I mean, going on the other side, I think villains is something that we definitely need to. I think DC has the villains on lock. Yep. I think they need to focus on villains and create the story around them and then introduce them, because Gotham was a really good setup, a fantastic setup. I feel as a series, it's like they're focusing on everything around. And granted, in the back of my head, I'm like, where's Batman? Where's Batman? Where's Batman? Where's Batman? In the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I'm loving seeing the real changing events and conversations that's happened in between these people that become villains later on, and like the development of where they come from. I loved Catwoman. I loved her development, and where she's going with it. It was kind of kooky and kind of corny between her and Bruce, but at the end of the day, it's just like it's setting some kind of sentiment. She's not she's no Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, let's just be real. She killed that role, but it's still that gritty DC world, and I just want them to there's certain things I want them to get away from the stupid palette that you use. The filter got to go. All right, the gray filter over Gotham, we understand Gotham is gritty and all this stuff, but damn, we don't need a color filter over it to tell us that. We can see it, be about it. Concentrate more on your villains, concentrate more on real life situations, because DC can handle it better than any other superhero franchise, I feel. Go into the psyche of Batman. Don't just make Joker out being a crazy one, because Joker is not actually that crazy. If anybody knows what's going on in their head, it's Joker. Batman is the one that's the opposite, and you know that in so many comics and everything. Like, Joker is a very intelligent person who just sees the world as it is. Batman is very book smart and technologically advanced, but he's still, I say, a little tiny bit underneath Joker. Joker always has the upper hand on Batman, even when he's caught. It's like, I plan for you to catch me. Yeah. And the Batman can't handle it. I think that turmoil needs to be there. I like, show the Joker, give us a little bit more. Don't give us like the Leto crazy, just give us the more tactical mind screwing that we know that the Joker does in the comic books. I just don't understand.
That's why I loved Heath Ledger's Joker so much. Yeah. He was the brilliant crazy. Mm-hmm. He knew what he wanted to do. He went out for it. He knew his opponent. He knew how to play the game. It was such a show of, I mean, obviously, rest in peace, Heath Ledger, but as much as he brought it out there, the writers of it did that character so much justice. It was absolutely amazing. Right? And then he just took it even further, obviously.
It was like writing in there was him.
Yep.
I mean, unfortunately, probably the reason why he led to his death. I mean, he, there's a lot of rumors out there, but I mean, he method acted. There was reports of him actually needing therapy and stuff, and like he really got into character, and rest his soul. But that's what made that. I mean, Joker made that movie.
Oh yeah,
Batman. Joker made that movie, and so it's just like I can't wait for Black Adam and what he faces, and the decisions he makes. I mean, it could be a good film. It could be another Scorpion. I mean, who knows?
Oh, God, please no.
At the end, at least it's not a Scorpion 2, because my God, that graphic. But anyway, Jesus. At the end of the day,
he does have a couple of those.
Oh man, comic books are winning. We're going to go into our final topic of the day called Versus. It's something we're going to be doing at the end of each show, where we're going to be focusing on a it may not be versus every time, but at the end of the show, we're going to leave you with a thought, leave you with some stuff, and we're going to talk about some juicy stuff. And right now we're gonna be talking about Batman versus Moon Knight in the versus DC versus Marvel.
Like that transition chat?
Very, very similar to each other. And in many cases, both of them wear a cape. I like the dynamic here. I like the yin and yang, right? Yes. One wears white and one wears black.
That's actually one cool thing about it. Yeah, especially in this photo too. Yep.
Yeah, so you almost have to be like, hey, does Marvel and DC actually have meetings and talk to each other about these characters? Like, this is such a beautiful marriage right here, because Batman, the Dark Knight. There's nothing superhero about this dude. He's the Dark Knight, bro. He comes from psychological pain of watching his parents die in front of him and get everything taken away from him, and nobody answers to justice for what happened. That dude's still running around, or not really anymore, but you know what I mean. And then Moon Knight. Oh my God, what the heck? This guy is batshit. Literally, like crazy. So let's start off with who everyone asks, like, who's really stronger between the two. I mean, both of them are, comic book wise, visually are ripped to shreds, which is kind of interesting because the main person that wakes up as Moon Knight and hears all these voices in his head, he ain't strong at all. He's a skinny little boy. Or man, I should
skinny
say.
Little man,
and, but through time, things happen. So Mark Spencer is Moon Knight to begin with. Moon Knight is a few people, actually, if you really want to just get down to it. He has different personalities, several, that develop over time. And as my first, and we'll go back and forth, Matt, my first Batman versus Moon Knight is fighting styles. Batman has been trained since almost womb, okay, to be, the better of everything and everybody, and the embodiment of justice and vengeance, which are actually two counter things. They don't go side by side. Vengeance is definitely not justice. That's very selfish.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very selfish thing. So he has a very selfish fighting style. He's very, very brawly. He's going to beat you to a half inch of your life. If you don't tell him what he wants to hear, he'll make sure that you're still living, but he's going to beat you down to a point where you might die in the hospital. But Batman is very straightforward. You study Batman's styles long enough. That's why Batman's people can beat his ass. It's like, you train with the people that train him. You're his equal almost. He beats you in wits and stuff, but when it comes to that. But Moon Knight is legit crazy. You don't know what the hell's going to come at you because he can switch personalities, and while he switches personalities, he switches fighting styles. What do you think?
I mean, you're spot on there. So just because I feel like Batman is more well known, right? Mm-hmm. Bruce Wayne, where he came from, obviously the death of his family right in front of him. He goes off in his teenage years to find himself and wants to be better and do something and get vengeance, as you said, which is different than justice. Vengeance and justice are two different things. Where Moon Knight is a couple of different personalities. Not a lot of people know him. He's going to get a movie. No, he is going to get a series on Disney Plus, so we're going to see it on a different fashion. That's one in the comic book. So you say for him really quick with these different personalities, he is rich, right? He is rich. Mm-hmm. Where does his powers come from? Because he does but doesn't have powers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
it's in his head. I mean, it's literally in his head, which makes him his worst enemy. You can say the same as Batman.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Batman, obviously, he has a couple of different disciplines as far as fighting styles, but like you said, you see him more and more, especially the way he doles out his version of justice. You go into Arkham Asylum, you're going to get out in a couple of weeks, most likely, right? Whether you're the Riddler, whether you're the Joker, or someone like Bane. Like, these guys are extremely smart. They know what to do. Okay, plan A didn't work, so let's go to plan B. He did this fight style. He's probably going to do that fight style, where technically if you're a villain or if you come up against Moon Knight, are you getting Persona 1? Are you getting Persona 2? You're getting Persona 3? Why is he so different that time? Do you know what's happening there? It's actually a good two ends of the spectrum here that we're starting off this verse battle with this week. Because you see Batman, he's very polarizing. He's wearing back. He's the Dark Knight, back black. And then you see Moon Knight. It's this white crazy guy, essentially, who's also doling out justice, but in different ways. But he's the White Knight, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. It comes down to this. Batman, if we're talking about like the Batman, the Batman that we grew up with, he's not going to kill anybody.
Yes.
At least not intentionally. But Moon Knight doesn't give it. He'll kill you in an instant. He does not care. He's brutal. He's effective. Yes. If he feels like you're a threat, he'll kill you. And it really depends on what personality you get, how he kills you. If you get to Mark Spencer, he might be a little bit shaky on it. I don't know if I should do this, but he snaps into his other personalities. Depending on what you get, he will kill you. He doesn't have any remorse. He feels that that's his justice, which makes him very brutal compared to Batman. So, when it comes down to a fighting style, I say they kind of tie off, but if it comes down to a point of making a decision, Moon Knight's not gonna blink. Batman will, which often gets Batman in trouble, you know, especially with the villains that he goes up against. You know, he could have ended Joker many a times, but Joker knows that he's not gonna do it because they can't live without each other. It's like, once you kill your purpose, what do you have to live for? Moon Knight's like, you kill somebody and move on to the next one, you know?
Yeah, because if Joker goes up against Moon Knight, and if Moon Knight has the chance, he's ending it. So then, like, as a villain, then how do you change your tactics against someone that you know is not going to take your life to who is going to take your life then?
Yeah, exactly. And like, Moon Knight goes through incarnation and stuff like that. He's a mercenary. At the end of the day, so he knows how to kill people.
Yep.
So it's a lot going on there. So yeah, well, I'll break it off as a tie in chat. You feel free to chime in if you want to. I'll break that one as a fighting style and say as a tie. But when it comes down to effectiveness and getting rid of somebody, I think Moon Knight's going to shine over Batman.
Oh, absolutely.
For the simple effect of that. Yeah. Now when it comes down to power level of each one, if they were to fight each other, I believe Batman would probably win the first couple of times. And I only say a first couple of times is because Batman's not going to kill him. Batman has experience, lots of it. I mean, this dude has dealt with intergalactic stuff. He's dealt with Darkseid. Don't know how he survived that. I know it's written in there for him to survive it, but my God, Darkseid. Anyway. He survived him, he survived Superman, he survived all these people just by using his wits and his technology and stuff like that. But it can only go so far, man. I don't care what kind of suit you build. Superman should be able to punch through it. But anyway, so yeah, experience alone will probably give Batman the upper hand, I believe.
I mean, even in the movies, he has just the most recent, right? He has to dodge and figure out a way to go against Doomsday. Yeah. So like, he is going against these superhero beings, and now obviously Steppenwolf and other areas as well. I mean, Moon Knight does as well. He was part of the Avengers and a couple of other different groups. But this is another interesting one. It's an interesting split here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But like I said, Batman's been trained for super long. He's been trained by the best assassins in the world. He has access to the healing pool. Depending on what Batman and hell, depending on what Batman, he's even metahuman. So you do have, I think Batman slightly comes ahead if it was a versus. And if Batman was, depending on the Batman we're talking about, if he did kill, I mean, Moon Knight and Batman would probably go toe to toe. They probably kill each other at the end of the day. When it comes down to that. Now, allies in like villains, that the world that they have to fight in. I mean, obviously Batman has the better allies. He has Superman, he has Wonder Woman. I mean, those two alone is good Lord. And the Flash, let me talk about that dude. He can punch a hole in your chest if he wanted to, just like anybody else. Cyborg, he has a Justice League, Batgirl, his sons, all the Robins, Nightwings, I mean, Moon Knight's kind of like a loner. Nobody really gives a shit about him because he's just really weird, and he doesn't give a crap about anybody else. He's that guy that goes out and does stuff himself. So, I mean, Batman obviously wins that hand by far. What do you think?
I agree with you. I mean, I like how Moon Knight, can do the military and a little bit of detective stuff. But as far as like overall, like looking at who would stand next to him in a battle, right? It's got to be Batman. It really is, especially when you look at the villains that he has too, the Rogues Gallery. I mean, like you hit the nail on the head with that one. I like Moon Knight. I like the character. I like the portrayal of him, and it's going to be interesting to see how deep they go into it all, especially with the Egyptian god side of things in the series. But I mean, it's Batman right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, technically, I say Moon Knight doesn't have allies, but he does. It's in his head. He's his allies. He actually converses with himself quite often and finds answers that way. It's actually really cool how they do it. Like, Mark Spencer may not understand a situation, but the other part of him will, and will break that down and then train himself. It's actually really wild, damn cool how he operates. I really hope they go into the real psychological. They have to. I mean, it's Moon Knight. If they don't, they'll screw it up. But the stuff that he can do is really cool. So on a personality level, Batman's a stale piece of poop. We all know that Batman's personality sucks. Even as Bruce Wayne, he sucks. It's like, what do? You're a rich boy that's always been rich, honestly. Let's just be real. But you act like you have nothing. Oh, I have nothing. No one in my life. I have $1 million sitting on it in my toilet right now. Like, you could go out, like Batman can flip that switch. He can go, oh, well, my family, everything hurts. And then he puts on a tie and walks out in public and everybody's taking pictures of him. He has that life. Moon Knight doesn't.
Well, you know what though? If you take it a step back though, like you think about Moon Knight a little bit about how crazy this character is, not in a mental state, but like an actual character. Like he has actually teamed up with Spider-Man before, and Spider-Man has seen how good of a person he can be. And I mean, that's Spider-Man. And then you go to the opposite side where he stood next to and fought alongside of Punisher, Frank Castle. Like that's how polar opposite this character can be, which makes it very intriguing for these two, and just as a character in general.
He's that's the thing. He can flip a switch, man. It's like Spider-Man has morals. Like Spider-Man's morals, like do not kill anybody. If
Punisher,
I don't care if you're an ally, if I catch you killing somebody, we're fighting. We're coming to blows. I mean, Spider-Man fought his best allies. He's fought everybody. Like literally, him and Iron Man didn't even get along. They hated each other. They fought every time they saw each other. But like, Moon Knight and Spider-Man can work because Moon Knight switches to that what he needs for that. Punisher, he's in love in Punisher because he switches to that, vigilante mode, and that makes him pretty much probably a really good ally. Honestly,
yes.
He wouldn't work in the Avengers, so to speak, but he's perfect as a wingman or a number 2, or maybe even a number 1 in that case. He would work perfectly with Wolverine. Need we talk about the what's the series in Marvel? Is it the House of M? No, not House of M. Where they were all the dark side of Marvel, where they had the black agents, like everyone wore black. Spider-Man, Wolverine, they would kill people. God, what's the name of that? Jesus, my mind. If anybody in chat knows, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? If anybody knows, please. Ethan Hawkeye is playing Moon Knight in Disney series.
No, actually, so Ethan Hawke is part of the series. It's an undisclosed character. Actually, the character of the actor that's actually playing Moon Knight, I absolutely love, is Oscar Isaac. He played Apocalypse in Days of Future Past, but he's an amazing actor. And there's actually video of him with the stunt coordinator on Instagram of his fight style. It's exactly what you said. He's literally holding a knife, practicing stunts, stabbing people and rolling over and fighting. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I can't wait. If Marvel pulls this off, I'm gonna have so much faith in him.
Poe Dameron. There you go. Sorry. Okay, cool, Thank you, Casual. What's up, Locks? Man, yeah, he's that Batman. For as bad as he can get, he's still considered a good guy, right? Where Moon Knight is this gray character because he won't take a life, but he will take a life. He'll fight alongside of the Avengers, and then he'll go around with Punisher killing people. This is, like I said, this is a great discussion to have, like a verse battle. Like, I mean, in the end of it, when they're going hand to hand right now, I mean, it probably would end up as a draw, and they would just both be in a hospital, or they would both wounded, die. Yeah, like they're gonna mess each other up for sure.
You know what's funny? They're both human.
Yeah, they're both humans.
Like they're both weak ass humans.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's funny. You're like, Batman's not weak, but no, when compared to like superhumans out there, dude, if Superman really wanted to kill Batman, pick up a damn tank and throw it on him. Like,
I'm
honestly,
done with you.
like honestly, Batman can't lift a tank. No, he can build a suit maybe to do all that, but come on now. Like, it's like Batman has to prep for stuff. So does Moon Knight. Both of them have to prep, do research, and on who they're fighting and know what they're going up against. That's the biggest weakness of them both. So I think they both tie off in the strength department because they're just both weak ass humans at the end of the day. They both look incredibly nice. They got big old muscles, but that's only gonna get you so far, and they both have utility belts, so to speak, and have lots of equipment. So they literally, like, Batman has batarangs,
and he's got the moon freaking.
Yeah, it's the moon boomerang, or whatever, boomerang, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. He has that. Batman has the batarangs, and Batman has those fists that he used on Bane. And also Moon Knight has the claws, the moon claws. Like, it's like they both go hand in hand with that. When it comes to durability, utility, fighting styles, and that. I mean, essentially they're the same person. Moon Knight is Marvel's Batman, so to speak.
Yep.
But taking a hit on the rich boy aspect of it and put him in more in a psychological turmoil. But obviously, when it, go ahead.
Yeah, you would think that the mental things that are going on with Moon Knight would be a deterrent or a negative. It's actually a positive in this instance when it goes up against him, because he has someone essentially with him fighting alongside of him. If he can't do this other being inside of him will be able to take over, flip the switch, and I got this from here. Which actually, if you're going against Batman in that sense, that's crazy to think about, because then he's gonna be like, oh, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes down to achievements, trophy awards, Batman wins. I mean, he took down Darkseid. Like, it's not even fair that he took down Darkseid. Let's just be real. What was it? Final Crisis Batman.
Yep.
That took down Darkseid. Or more, let me not say take down is not killing Darkseid. It's mortally wounding him, like, to where he can't do anything else until he heals and comes back, whatever. I personally hated it because it's Batman, for God's sakes. If Superman struggles with Darkseid, how in the hell does, but anyway, it's
exactly.
like Squirrel Girl beating up Thanos. Like, come on, like, get over it.
No.
I just don't understand. So it comes down to that. So overall, I'm just gonna say, at the end of the day, I think Batman has more points than Moon Knight because of the Darkseid thing and his allies. If it had to be out of 10, I say Moon Knight's a 9 and Batman's a 10. If you had to make it out of 10.
If you really deep dive into it, you're right. Because I mean, Batman is part of the Justice League, and he has Superman and Batman, but Moon Knight was part of the Avengers. He was part of the Defenders. He was part of the West Coast Avengers. Like, he has been the hero part of a larger group, but I think you're talking about a S tier superhero in Batman with a like just like that notch under.
Yeah.
Just like that notch under, if that makes sense.
He's definitely, I don't even want to say Moon Knight is A tier. I think he's like more of a B. He's kind of average tier, because we're talking about everything here. And not only like feats of strength and stuff like that, but just notability in general.
True.
He's if he was a celebrity, he'd be a B rank celebrity, maybe even a C rank, because people just don't care or know about Moon Knight enough.
The John Malkovich of now.
yeah. Like, his character just didn't make waves. I mean, granted, he's getting some attention, so obviously that's why I would bump him up to more of a B, is because he's getting attention from Marvel now. And we'll see where Marvel takes it. Will he bump to A? I don't think he'll ever be an S tier, because he's just not he's not Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man. He has a lot of flaws. He'll never be a superhero. That's just the case of that. So but we have one more thing to talk about. Hey, what's up, Nuka? And that's down to the design. So the costume design of Batman versus Moon Knight. Man, it depends on which costume you're going with. Let's say with the one that we're showing now, the classics. Oh man, it's kind of hard. I'm gonna have to go with Batman on this, because Batman just looks like a scary individual you just don't want to see in an alley. He's got the classic white eyes. I'm talking about the not the stupid long bat horn, bat ears or whatever. The short ones with the gray blue outfit that had the black trim on it. It's just the classic, tights. It was really, really cool with the golden, which the dumbest color ever, golden utility belt that everyone can see.
How am I hiding that?
Yeah, but Moon Knight has got that Spawn look. He's got you got the ripping muscles, you got the cowl and the cape. He's kind of funny looking, his cowl. I never liked his cowl at all. I never liked it. It's like hood. It looks so stupid. It looks like a bad hairline. Yeah, it's like a receding hairline. It's just never understood it.
Oh my god!
Without it, he'd be like Spawn looking, But I kind of like the old school look of Moon Knight in a suit,
hilarious.
like the mercenary outfit with the mask. I thought that was pretty badass. Yeah, I thought it was pretty badass.
The funny thing is, and because I love DC. Mm-hmm. Just specifically looking at this photo, I really like Moon Knight more. It's just
he's menacing, dude. He looks menacing.
Like, there's something like, I don't want to go up next to that guy. Like, he's got these weird blue eyes looking at me. His shirt. I mean, his suit is messed up. Like, it's definitely a little bit a dirty. I know if you probably saw him standing next to each other, it's this guy in a white suit compared to this other being in like a gray with a little bit of blue and black and then these horns. Like, I get it, but I don't know why. Just just looking at these two specifically and knowing a little bit about the characters, right? Like I don't know, something about it. I like it. I like it.
Okay, if you talk about going up against each one of them, yeah, I'll fight Batman any day because I know I'm going home at the end of the night.
Oh yeah, no, yes, no, but no, yeah, because I know I won't die compared to Moon Knight. No, I want to fight you, not you.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it. I like it. Both designs are very great. I mean, I seems like you would go with the Batman design, and there's a bunch of Batman designs that I love and hold dear, but there's something about Moon Knight and that Spawn kind of aesthetic to it, and a little bit of like Casual said, a little bit of Carnage and like Venom, kind of like with his cape kind of flowing behind him a little bit.
Yeah, his cape
there's
is almost
something
sentient,
about it. Yeah, there's something about it I like, and it's weird for me to say, but just staring at that photo, I would personally go Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's pretty menacing. I mean, Batman looks kind of calm. He looks like somebody that'll talk to you before he whips your butt or something. Yeah, for sure.
Which is also the wildly intimidating thing about Batman. He's always in control.
Yeah,
that's another crazy thing.
I think I'm thinking about like the moon in the background and both characters jumping up with their capes flying behind them, and like
I would say
you know how Batman's cape somehow always forms into bat wings. Don't know how it does it, but okay. It's just like pointy lines and stuff. Magic. That's scary as hell to me. I'm like, what the hell is that? You know, at least I know. Moon Knight, I'm like, okay, there's a dude coming in the cape coming after me. I'm gonna start running now, you know. Or when Batman hits the ground, he becomes like pudding. You ever notice that in the Batman? And he's like flat and he stands up and he's just tall and individual.
It's just this sleek with the cape going around him, just to the like, 2 points,
you know. And
the Batman animated series always did that very, very good.
Yeah, that's scary to me because I'm like, is that a human? Like that's not human, you know. In Moon Knight, you know, I don't. We haven't really seen enough of Moon Knight to know if he was animated. I mean, I think they did do some animation stuff in one Spider-Man cartoon
probably a long time ago, yeah.
But his outfit was horrible. Let's just be real. Moon Knight looked really like he just wearing pajamas with a cape. I mean, it was really bad. But I think it was like the 90s Spider-Man. They introduced him once, but yeah, coming from that picture, this dude is rippling muscles, veins popping everywhere. I mean, Moon Knight looks like he would like. You know, if he farted, he'd kill somebody. You know, it's like this dude's ripped everywhere. Look at his chest. Look, his chest is made up like he has no skin, bro. It's just like muscle underneath. Yeah, he's a little menacing by that picture. But we would like to hear your thoughts, chat. If you know, Moon Knight or Batman. This is like, so at the end of each segment, before we go into discussion and stuff, we're gonna have like a some of a topic that involves you. And like just civil discussions about like different characters. It might be like the suit battles, or you know, talking about old and crusty ass superheroes that never made it to the forefront that are actually OP as hell, or like even villains on that standpoint and stuff like that. So definitely make sure you give us feedback. We love hearing feedback, what you think about the show.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you, you know, it's Saturday, early afternoon. It's, you know, West Coast, overseas, wherever you're watching. Like, yeah, you know, we're very active on Twitter as well. I forgot who it was, but you know, we were talking about a brief discussion last week. We gave people homework on Invincible, and a gentleman was talking about it, and we were going back and forth on it, and I was like, wait until you get the last 10 minutes, and he goes, oh my God, this is the greatest series ever. Like, even though you may not be able to chat now, you know, feel free to hit us up, obviously when we're streaming here on Twitch or on Twitter as well, with our handles that you see on screen.
Yeah, for sure. And we love hearing it. You know, I had some people in my community on my stream, and they were telling me that they binge watched Invincible, and I was like, what in the hell? So it's really nice. Good. Remember, next week we're talking about Invincible, guys, and The Boys, and how that has opened the doors for comic movies and shows, where they should go. And if having some NA rated R moments in those things, great. Honestly, I'm here for the sex and smut. I'm here for the dirty drugs, because those are real life situations that you would deal with. Dude, I know damn good and well, if I was a single bachelor that was a nerd his whole life, I got beat up and he got superpowers, I got ripped as shit, the first thing I'm doing is finding me a lady friend and have some fun, man. Like, so or like go out and do things that I've never done before, you know? Man. I'm serious. Like, these are things that we have to talk about, you know? So those are cool. That's going to be the juicy comments next time. So make sure you come with your head, you know, in the gutter or outside the gutter, however you want to do it, because these are topics that no other comic show is talking about. We bring it live here every Saturday. So We like to be your Saturday morning cartoons, adult version wise, I should say. There's shows for everybody. We're not going to get into super nasty details about how in The Boys how dolphins work, but we're just really just gonna dig into some real, There's
actually one line in Invincible that Omni-Man says that I want to talk about. That's actually very interesting. I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, which is very interesting. It fits this very well.
Yeah. They. Oh man. See, when I say smut, they introduced it in Invincible very, very lightweighted, but it was there. Like sex was definitely there.
Oh yeah.
But it was like very subtle, and it was very, and us adults were like, haha. That's funny because I wonder what that would do, and then like everybody else, like kids would just be like overlooking it because they don't understand it. So it's a great thing about it. So we're getting close to the end of the show. We typically only go an hour and 45 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, depending on what we're talking about. So open discussion chat. If you got anything you want to say or anything you want to comments or topics you want to bring up, this is your time to shine. Until we wait for that, we're gonna I kind of want to start doing this thing where we start giving you like almost like an
homework assignment,
epilogue. So
an epilogue.
Yeah,
okay.
Like a follow up of the next episode that's coming, and giving you some thoughts. So what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be recapping the shows of Boys Invisible, that how they shake up mainstream superhero formula.
Yep.
Show the dark sides of the universes. We're gonna be talking about weaknesses because that's the most important thing. It's not the powers; it's the weakness behind the powers. It's like, if I ask you what superhero powers you have today, you'll be like, teleportation. What's your weakness? Not knowing where I'm teleporting to. Oh, well, damn. I don't know if I want teleportation. You know, it's like, damn. What if you teleport yourself on top of a mountain, the Himalayas, and you die from frostbite? You so superhero you are. Like how do you train teleportation? How do you determine your distances? Stuff like that.
Which once again, watch Jupiter, watch, dude. There's so many things I want to know. If you can, so that's actually something that I want to talk about too. What formula do you like more? Do you like the Netflix just drop everything day one, or do we like what DC and Marvel are doing with these weekly episodic thing? I
like weekly. I didn't think I would like that, but I love having to ponder what the hell I just watched. Like honestly, when Invincible was brand new, I was like, what? I mean, granted, I can do that if I can just hold myself back from watching, but
you could say I'm just gonna watch it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, and then
Chad, if you have self-control, raise your hand. No one raised their hand. There we go.
Yeah, I don't understand it as well. Just saying, I've been let's see, I've had this dream about Batman vs. Joker live action R-rated movie directed by Rob Zombie. Interesting, because Rob Zombie is known for his poopy.
Yeah, that would be a hard R movie.
It would impact hard is probably a negative. Like Rob Zombie should stick to music. Honestly, I like Rob Zombie's gore.
Yes,
he goes over the top with it, man. There's blood coming out fingertips that shouldn't shoot out that much blood. It's just like, but that's because Rob Zombie is over the top.
Yes,
I don't know about Rob Zombie, honestly. I
like your idea though. You want to see a knockdown, drag him out, bloody battle between the Joker and Batman, and that's actually one of the things that I liked about Justice League, how they brought the blood into the killing and into the beat 'em up aspect of it. Like seeing that move a little bit on over to it would be really cool. I don't know about to a Rob Zombie type of crazy thing, though. I could see like seeing Jason Todd, like him going crazy in that aspect, him beating the shit out of him, like that would be really cool. And Scarecrow fear toxin, how Rob Zombie could do something like that. That's actually pretty cool.
Yes, but not directing the whole thing. But like, dealing with Scarecrow's man. There's some things, some comics I saw with Scarecrow's jacked up. His life that he had.
Ichabod Crane.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
dude!
What do you guys think about the recent Marvel trailers? Oh, bro. Is my sound? It's not working. But did you hear that? Okay, so that's how I felt. When I saw it, honestly.
Oh my god!
That's it,
dude.
Okay?
It's so good.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but
no, they heard it.
All right.
No, that's a whole. I mean, we can make a whole episode just out of that trailer itself because there is so much going on.
What a lovely trailer!
Yes,
what a lovely, powerful trailer because it's in the times of shit. We're in shit times, and it's like Marvel's kind of listening about it. Granted, people have their ways of saying that Marvel's just using their world as their like way to anchor people to. Anyway, those people are dumb. It's a great message. The part where Stanley's like, look at her, she's your sister, she's your neighbor, your brother. You know, that speech was, you know, used in multiple movies, but what a wonderful statement. And just seeing it, you know, we relived, oh my God, that trailer, we relived everything. I was tearing up because
when they did the scene of in the movies, dude, the goosebumps, that was me. When Avengers assemble, I mean, I'm not that was the point leading up to it. I mean, obviously Stan Lee's talk and discussion leading up to it, what you said, and seeing the images alongside of it. She's your brother, she's your sister, and then leading up to that one thing, it brings it to what we all felt when we were in the theater watching it. The insanity and the roar coming from us, like so good.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And I'm gonna tell you, if you have a family member, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, you know, significant other, partner, whatever you want to say, and they haven't seen Marvel films, binge watch it with them.
Yes.
And like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I binge watched it with my wife, and just I like literally knew parts coming up, and I just looked at her, just to see her like on the edge of her seat, crying, laughing. Oh, dude, it was like I married the right person. You know, it's like, oh man, somebody that's appreciating Marvel. Somebody's appreciating comic book movies. Oh, you know, I was just like in love with the moment, dude. It's like, yeah, those trailers are fantastic. And the Wakanda one, I died. It was done. Tears were just coming out my face. You know, just the title is so good. You know, it's an ode to Chadwick Boseman.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know it's there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I can't even talk about getting teary-eyed. It's just so good because it's the world I've been living in since I was a young kid, being picked on all about it all the time and stuff, or not being cool about it. And now people are in my world. This is my turf. This is Matt's turf. This is your turf.
Yep.
This is the nerdum that we get to invite people in wholeheartedly without being upset, without being Batman, you know, about how people treated us when we were younger. But it's like, here you are. Welcome to our world. Now we're the cool kids.
Yep.
You know, and then I think the whole speech behind Stan Lee was kind of saying that, like, you're always here, but we're not excluding you. We're welcoming you in, you know, into this universe. You know, it's just so beautiful. And it's like the first comic ever made, and who the thought that went behind doing that and why they did it. I want to know. I wish we can reverse time for the fact just being in that person's mind for that moment, you know. It's an escape, and I can only think back to people living in shit because comics came out when stuff was actual shit.
Yep.
You know, and like just thinking about like making the first character something I would love to be, you know, a person of justice and hope and freedom and this, that, and the other. And they didn't think about all the bad stuff. You know, when a superhero punched somebody in the building, they bounced off of it. You know, it's that kind of thing. You know, or they hit the building was fine the next day. You know, it's like, these are the things that we get to introduce everyone to, and seeing the Marvel movie trailers just come alive. It's like, you thought it was coming to an end, right? A lot of people was just like, "Oh, Avengers, this is the end game. No. This is done."
This is a whole new chapter. The door was cracked before, and now it's massively wide open with Black Widow, even though it's a prequel. You got Shang-Chi. You got Eternals, which is really interesting to seeing the clips from it.
Galaxy.
Spider-Man. Then you got Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. You got Guardians of Galaxy 3. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Moon Knight.
These are just the movies too that we're talking about. We're not even talking about Disney Plus.
Oh yeah. Movies wise,
and then it obviously goes into Wakanda Forever. Miss Marvels, which actually goes back to Monica Rambeau being a Captain Marvel at one point. That's why it's called Miss Marvels.
What?
Which
They
is
changed that.
Sick. It was Captain America. It was not Captain America. It was what was it? What's her name? It was Miss Marvel 2, and now it's Miss Marvel.
No. It was Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Excuse me.
It was Captain Marvel 2, and then it was Miss Marvel. Period. And they just like put it together. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with that. Are they still gonna do Miss Marvel after Captain the Miss Marvels?
I think Miss Marvel's is taking the place of Captain Marvel, and you're going to get all three of them combined because Monica Rambeau now, because she was originally one of them, or originally a Captain Marvel at some point.
What the hell? Like, how do you explain that in the Marvel universe, though?
Well,
like,
at the end of WandaVision, she goes, "We want you up here."
Yeah, but but she's gotten. Did Wanda wake her powers up? Like,
or gave her powers because she went back and forth?
It could be the Mind Stone because
could be.
But was it in her the whole time? How did it even get in her? Because it's really weird how she got powers in the cinematic universe. We all kind of ignored it because we were still like, "Oh my God, Scarlet Witch."
She's not.
I'm really confused.
Oh yeah.
I hope they explain it, and I know they will.
And there's that dynamic that she doesn't like her. Monica doesn't like Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. They're not friends.
In the cinematic universe?
Yeah, when they were talking about her down there, she was like she never said she doesn't like her, but she made the faces and made side comments like she's not a fan of hers. So maybe that's because
she wasn't there to protect her mom because she knew how close they were.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
But the reason why I'm happy that Casual brought that up was the end. You got all these dates leading up to somewhere in 2023. Then you see the 4 Flash for the Fantastic
2024.
Four.
We know that.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. It could be the end of 2023 or 2024. But the one thing that I need to ask you about before we get out of here is where we heard about Blade 2 years ago, and we still don't have a Blade image. So this is going to be a 2024, 2025. This is 6 years in the making now.
It may not be a movie. They might just turn into a series.
Really? All right.
That could be the thing because they didn't show the series that's coming out.
Yeah, because I mean
that's probably going to come with Comic-Con New York
in October this year.
Yeah, that's probably where all that stuff is going to come into play. I mean, they better do something. Mashallah Ali is being scooped up everywhere, so they better figure something out. Yeah, I don't. Maybe the Multiverse of Madness is going to open the doors to those shows and everything.
Because if you think about it, I mean, unless I'm wrong, right? Like Blade is mainly vampires, right? So this goes.
He's mainly in the Spider-Man world, and vampires, because Spider-Man has a lot of freaking vampires in his world. You got the Inheritables. You have what's his face? The stupid darn vampire boy. God dang, my Morbius.
Yeah, Jared Leto's movie. Whatever. Yeah, Morbius.
Anyway, you have Man-Bat.
Man-Bat also. No, isn't Man-Bat DC?
I think they're in both. There's a Man-Bat in. I remember him in the 90s Spider-Man show. He was actual freaking bat walking around, flying around. It might be Mobius before he changed or something. Maybe I'm getting confused because I remember there's a giant ass bat flying around in Spider-Man 90s cartoon. Let me see.
It could be Morbius.
But it might be Mobius because he went through like changes just like Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man actually grew 8 arms at some point, because of the mutations. And I think
that was fun when they put it in the TV show. The series. That was a cool part.
I actually hated the clone series so much in Spider-Man because it literally just stripped down our Spider-Man that we grew up with and then like Scarlet Spider was such a sweet ass character for him to just anyway. We'll talk about that. That'll be another episode we talk about actual clones and like bad storylines in comics. That'll just definitely be a talk because there's so many of them where they ran out of damn ideas and were like, let's make a clone, another parallel universe, and another. It's like, how many damn spiders can bite people out here, man? Jesus, my goodness.
The multiverse in both universes is quite crazy.
Spider-Verse, multiverse. But I'm excited about Eternals because my God, they needed something. My goodness, we're not even gonna talk about the what happened before, whatever they try to do with that. What the hell that was, but it looks awesome. The new stuff looks fantastic. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited. This is just opening the doors for DC to take some time to themselves as well. Yeah, really sit down and think about what they want to do with the future. Robert Pattinson Batman looks fantastic. Looks wise, it hits the mark. I would say that Patterson has the best Batman face when it comes to in a suit.
And you finally get the mascara, the black mascara.
Yeah, black mascara. Maybe even the white eyes we might even get with a future suit. Who knows? I still don't know why DC hasn't done a Batman Beyond yet, because my God, there's so much stuff there.
There has been the rumors around the water cooler about that, especially with Michael Keaton reprising his role in the next Flash movie. Yeah. There is apparently writers that want to come into it. I mean, there's also apparently writers and discussions about restarting or restarting where it ended, the Batman animated series, just like they are for X-Men for Disney Plus. Like this is like everything that we want. And it's going to be interesting, especially that we're starting this now because we have, digital San Diego Comic-Con, I believe, sometime in July. Obviously, you got a digital New York Comic-Con. We also have, is there a D23 this year going digital?
I want to say yes. There is. I've seen some stuff about it. But again, I think it was up in the air, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do it, especially if Comic-Con does their thing. I mean, the Olympics is happening this year, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I think everything is going to start showing its face, even if it's not in person. It'll definitely be digital.
You're going to have some more events. I mean, obviously, DC said they're having their fandom in October, where presumably you're going to get a lot more information in regarding every movie that isn't out yet, including Batman, including Suicide Squad, and including Black Adam. I assume that's where we're going to get the first big thing. And then, going into what we do, going into video games, hopefully hear so much more about Gotham Knights, since that was delayed, and see what the hell's going on with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, I think was the title of the game.
What about I don't know what happened to Green Lantern Corp was supposed to get their own movie, and I don't know what the hell happened. So
it's not a movie that was actually talked about this week. That was one of the big pieces of the DC news. There's been an HBO Max series coming out. They're using HBO Max as the Disney Plus, right? So Matt Reeves is directing a Batman series on there, and there's a Green Lantern's Corps coming out, and they just signed a character from we talked about it before because you hate the character on it. American Horror Story. A guy from there to not play Hal Jordan, not play Jon Stewart, but
dude, I need Jon Stewart. God dang it!
Oh my God! Did you see the pictures of the behind the scenes of Zack Snyder's Justice League with their Jon Stewart? Green Lantern Corp finds its Green Lantern.
Bro, I need Jon Stewart so bad. Like
Guy Gardner, excuse me.
In my eyes, the best Green Lantern. Like I don't know why they skip out on that.
Yeah. So yes, they just cast Guy Gardner. It was Finn Wittrock. He was most notably known for American Horror Story as Dandy Mott, Tristan Duffy, and Rudolph Valentino. It looks like season 10. I'm sure if you look up his name, you'll recognize who he is. Finn, Wittrock.
Finn, Fenn?
Finn, sorry, Finn.
What's his last name?
Wittrock.
Wittrock.
Yeah. Yeah, he's playing Guy Gardner.
Oh, Guy Gardner.
Yeah, that's usually shown off as the redhead version of Guy, not Max, and not Mark, and not Ryan Reynolds. Hal Jordan,
yeah. I thought they were making a Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern, or he was supposed to lead the Corp.
I would assume if this works out well, they'll probably introduce both those characters. I still think they want to hold on to Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan somehow to bring them into the movies, but